Morning, everyone. I am in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And I'm going to be visiting a barbecue restaurant called The Pig at 11 a.m. when they open. And this is actually a very good McDonald's. You figure it would be. It's right near the UNC campus. And it's geared for people with electronics because they have outlets not at every bench. And if I was McDonald's or any chain, I would set up my tables to be mini electronic places. And I know that would encourage people to stay there, but I think you're more likely to sell food if people are encouraged to go there. And I think a lot of young people have things that they need to plug into. But anyways, I come to McDonald's because I get their decaf coffee and it's $1. So $1, pretty cheap. And they actually, for people who don't know, you get a free refill with your coffee at McDonald's. So if you drink it, you're going out the door, just get a refill and you can go. So in essence, you get 2 cups for $1. And I think the McDonald's coffee is actually very good. But I just wanted to do a quick video. I was talking with some folks about backing up data, and I'll show you here in a second. Typically I'll have, 2 drives, 2 of these hard drives. I'll show you real quick. So I have 2 drives, and I'll call 1A and 1B. So this one's A, this one's B, call it whatever you want. Basically minimum 1 terabyte, but you can see the size difference. But roughly this size will be 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and now they have 3 terabyte that will plug into your USB without requiring an external power cable. When I first started doing this, the 3 terabyte were this big, and you had to have a separate power cable and a USB, and it really is not conducive to traveling, because if you're on a bus or a plane, no power cable usually. So I try to stick with these things right here. Now there's different models, and I started experimenting with them. I had been using Toshiba for the first couple of years, and Toshiba are going to be the more expensive ones. This 3 terabyte will roughly run $100, $125. Okay, and actually this is a 2.5 terabyte. And that's the other thing that's ridiculous, is they'll go like 1, 1.5, 2. Get as many terabytes as you can get for the lower price, minimum 1 terabyte. But keep in mind that 2 things. Obviously, if you get a 3 terabyte or a 2 terabyte, you'll be able to hold a lot more data than 1 terabyte, and you can use it for multiple trips. But when you get back home, make sure that you take what was on here and back it up to a 3rd drive that stays home. Every trip I go on, I buy new drives. So these stay at home anyways. And ideally, the good thing about a 3rd location, a 3rd drive, is you keep it in a separate location, so if anything burns down or anybody loses anything, you've got it backed up. And I learned this the hard way. So the cheapest ones, you can get a 1 terabyte WD passport. I think I paid $40 for this, or $45. And that was delivered online, I'm pretty sure. So I decided to try this. I'd never used them before. And I would try if I'm not sure about the brand or the quality, I would try it, but I would make sure that I mix in one that I know is reliable, so that the reason I do this is worst case scenario on the trip, if anything gets damaged, destroyed, lost, I've got one backup, and I can always buy another one on the road, and then you can always transfer files to files. The other thing that I used to do is I used to carry around my Macbook Pro on trips, and I think it weighs 8 or 9 pounds, something like that. And when I carry one bag and I put 8 or 9 pounds just for the computer, it takes up space, but also it takes up weight. I've got to haul that thing around. So I actually went out and I got a Chromebook about 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. I got this for $140, and back then Chromebooks were fairly new, so there weren't a lot of options like there are today. the thing I will say is make sure you get a Chromebook, if you get one, that has as much RAM as you can get, because over time, as this operating system is updated and as time goes by, these updates, it starts using more and more RAM. And so if your computer, I think mine has 2 gigabytes of RAM. So now after 3 years, I can't open more than 2 or 3 windows without this thing crashing. And when I add these devices, sometimes it will overload the computer and it will crash. And so it really slows things down. And but when I bought this, I don't want to get into all the problems I've had with the Mac, but for a $1,000 computer, it shouldn't have these type of issues so quickly. And that's why I went with a Chromebook, because I figured $150, if I get 2, 3, 4 years out of it, I'll be fortunate, because then I figured there'd be new technology that would make it a better unit at that point. So the setup that I have here is I just have a simple little Chromebook, and really all this is doing is it gives me a monitor. If I had any device that had a monitor that just allowed me to transfer files from my camera or my phone to these drives, then that's what I'd use. But this is something simple, because these do not have any hard drive on it. It has a small amount of space on it, but not a lot of space. So you can't download files, you can't download programs and save them on here like a traditional computer. So if you want, what you can do is this is a Chromebook, so you can use Google's online software, whether it's a spreadsheet or a Word document. Now if you do browsing, or if you use YouTube, or if you use Gmail, or even your own email, anything where you need a browser, this is perfect for. So, but if you wanted to do QuickBooks on it, or if you wanted to do gaming on this, it's really not geared for that. But for a little travel computer where you just want something that's light, and plus this only weighs about a pound, so, and it's tiny, so it fits in my bag. It doesn't take up a lot of weight, a lot of space, so I can really pick up and go pretty easily. And that's pretty much the setup I have. Lots of cables and lots of wires though. So surprisingly, when I travel, my backpack still has a pocket full of electronic gear. Alright. Signing off. Cheers. So when you plug this in, it will give you the option to open up a window. And so each one of these drives is set up as a window. Now you can resize the window to be able to see it a little bit easier. So I actually have this trip already plugged in here. So I call this the June 2017 Carolina barbecue trip. Now what I want to do here is you'll see I don't have all the files, because when I download the files from the phone, it will go onto one drive, and then I have to plug in the other drive and copy it over. Alright, so I've got June 7th before, June 9th, June 10th. You see I missed June 11th transferring this over, so I just... Okay. And now you'll see that there's a progress bar down here. And this is an older computer. It will take probably a good 45 minutes probably to download that. The other thing I will say is, depending where you are in the country, not all McDonalds are the same, not all places are the same. So this one is clean, which is nice. They actually keep the tables clean. Up in Manchester, they're pigs. People will throw their stuff everywhere, and then the restaurant takes 3 days to clean the place. So you walk in and there's ketchup on your seat, and the fries, it's gross. And the Wi-Fi speed, again, will hit. I've found with uploading at a McDonald's, if you're trying to upload anything, forget about it. The upload speed is god-awful. So if I do a speed test here, so I go to speedtest.net. Okay, I use this all over the world, this program, speedtest.net, which you can use with your Chromebook. And this will test bandwidth, basically, how fast is your data moving. Notice I also cover the camera. Being a Chromebook, you know that it's linked in. This internet here is very slow. It took 5 minutes for this page to open up, so I imagine it's going to be very poor here. Now you need to keep this open because it will do a ping, and on the Chromebook, if you go to another page, it will lose interest in this page. And I think it's because this just doesn't have enough RAM to really operate properly. Yep, this is bad. So it will find a server to ping against, to use as its reference point. And when I'm down in Mexico or China, you know, it'll be interesting to see where it actually pings off of. This is pathetic. McDonald's Chapel Hill, you guys need to get your act together here. I mean, free Wi-Fi is not very good if it doesn't work. Okay, when speed test finally comes up, you'll see sometimes it will come up with a different version. It will say go. This one comes up, so you just click on begin test, and then it will go out and ping and find a local server. Well, it should. Okay, well the speed here is pretty good. Usually it's like 1 or 2 kilobytes second. This is up near 6. Or actually megabytes. Yeah, the upload will be less than 1 usually. So that would take just a very simple video clip. It would take like 2 hours at that speed. That's how you check the test of the speed of the Wi-Fi that you're at. This one will be pretty good for streaming videos, for sending emails with larger photos or attachments. Uploading, forget about it.